Hello, my name is Paul, aka Public Citizen on Twitch. I don't do a lot of streaming, but I enjoy listening to streams and panels. Especially, I learn a lot that way, and I've been following certain people and subscribing. One of the people that I've followed in the past is Rob Noerr, because I feel like we need to encourage good faith conservatives to push back against people on the left because they tend to overpower and drown out other points of view. And so I've always been somebody, well, always, but I try to be somebody who looks for nuance and details and listen to all points of view. So anyway, but right now I'm gonna put Rob on blast, Rob Noerr, because I listened to one of his streams and I felt like he was pretty dishonest, and his rhetoric was very inflammatory, and it didn't add any clarity to the situation about vaccines and how to distribute vaccines equitably. There's a lot of factors. There's mortality factors. Elderly people tend to die more from COVID. There's factors about exposure. So frontline workers are exposed more, especially medical workers. And there's also other factors that when we look at equity, we could see that people of color are dying at a much higher rate. So, but the way Rob portrayed his story was just magnifying the worst possible conspiracy theories out there in the world, stirring up racial hatred, and basically not adding anything good to the conversation. So what I want to do right now is read some of his comments. We're talking about, so basically, just to simplify the story, the CDC was considering race and ethnicity as one factor in how to distribute the vaccine fairly and effectively. So some of the comments that Rob said are, the CDC is recommending that more people die because as long as more white people die, it's worth it. That's a Rob quote. Here's another one. Now we have the premier health agency in our country suggesting that it's a preferable strategy to have more people die if it means more white people dying. That's what they're suggesting. Okay, he's talking here about ethnic cleansing. He's talking about white people suck. He's talking about major institutions in the country can barely hold their contempt for white people, especially Christians. He's talking about on and on, this kind of stuff. And then when I called him out on a little bit, he accused me of being a racist. So, I'm sitting at home typing and he's just screaming at his camera. And so, it's slanderous at the very least, and it's dishonest. And so I'm making this video. Anyway, so some of the details are, which is, everything's devil's in the details here. The way Rob was portraying it, he was making it sound as if the CDC was going to favor people of color over elderly people and over and above frontline workers, which is just not true. So here's some of the details. This is an article from back December 5th talking about the debate about who should get it. And so, look at this. We have a lot of different possibilities here. You have to factor in who's likely to spread the disease, who's likely to die from the disease, and all of these things. So none of this was included in Rob's rant. But, and then we can get into, this was the article he was working from, which he incorrectly attributed this to, I believe, Vanity Fair, or one of these, a magazine with some credibility, but this is not where it came from. So that's another lie of his right there. So what ended up happening is, let me get to... Okay, so he's kind of just copying the Tucker Carlson playbook of racial grievance. So I'm not going to go through the whole Tucker thing, but I thought this was super relevant. The fact that people of color die at a much higher rate. How do you not factor in race and ethnicity when the death rates are, there's such a disparity there? Anyway, so I tried to, my first response when he presented his argument was, well, that sounds really bad. But then the more I thought about it, the more I read, I realized he was not giving us a real balanced approach to this issue. So I'm going to drop in some of the comments that I left for him. And then you can judge for yourself if he's an honest actor, if he comes with good faith. Good faith. I say he doesn't. So it got pretty ugly, called me names a bunch of times. And then I called him out and said that I had challenged him to a debate on COVID in the past, and he blew me off. And that's the fact. He did blow me off a couple times. So, I'm willing to talk about this stuff. The way that the Republicans have been spreading misinformation since the beginning, and he's one of them. He's guilty of it too. He's even on this stream, he was talking about how masks are not proven effective. Really, at this stage of the game, you're spreading mask trutherism? It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So, I thought this was interesting. Back from the summer, Media Matters found that Fox News had pushed misinformation 253 times in just 5 days. And I've been following Rob for quite a while here, and I have heard him spreading misinformation. So I guess that's it. I'm going to end this video with playing some of his comments so you can see that I'm not making this up. He's spreading race hate. This is race hate, and there's no benefit to this. This is a nuanced conversation. If you can't present what's actually happening in a fair way, you're part of the problem. You complain about leftists spreading race hate, and that's exactly what you're doing here, talking about ethnic cleansing and leftists hate grandma, and we hate white people, and it's just bullshit, okay? So I guess that's all I wanted to say. Shout out to all the honest conservatives out there. Counterpoints, really good, really cool. Has a lot of nuanced arguments. Endernax, I like a lot of his stuff. Some of these other guys, I like them, some of their stuff, but they tend to go off on some bizarre rabbit holes at times. And, that's it. I guess that's it for now. See you later. Okay. So speaking of viruses, let's look at how Rob Noerr spreads the racial virus, the racism virus. There's a few ways.
And so I thought it was worth talking about today, just one issue, and that is the CDC recommending that more people die because as long as more white people die, it's worth it. That's it. Now, I know that now we have the premier health agency in our country suggesting that it's a preferable strategy to have more people die if it means more white people dying. That's what they're suggesting. Now they're saying, screw grandma. She's too white. Again, this is the CDC, the document we're looking at. That's irrelevant. The relevance of this episode today is to show you how critical race theory and social justice warriors and cultural Marxism that sprung up on campuses will be used to justify the argument that life-saving medication should not be given to white people. That we are literally entering a phase of such high racism in this country that it's okay to make government policy that leads to more people dying as long as their skin color is the correct skin color.
This is called bad faith. This is not the intention. The intention is to address the fact that there are disparities, differences in death rates by race and ethnicity. So yeah, they walked back this proposal, and I'm glad they did. You know, it's always better to have a debate, a discussion, an exchange of ideas, as opposed to insults and deceptive arguments.
White people have privilege. White privilege means that your skin color has never been a detriment in your life.
Okay. Then he goes on to talk about all the examples of people he's known who had a benefit because of being non-white. This is the white grievance video show.
So Appalachia, all the poor people there, screw them. They're white. Who cares if they're poor? That's their fault for being. No. We want to save black lives. We don't give a shit about old people because they're disproportionately white. Applying attributes of a group to an individual purely based on skin color is inherently unethical and racist. It's the definition of racism. But yes, you're absolutely right. It's unethical.
Is he fairly presenting the argument? I would say no. I would argue no. We'll see how much more white grievance he can get in here.
People with actual political power are literally advocating a form of ethnic cleansing. And no one bats an eye. It's just, well, yeah, makes sense. White people are shitty. They're terrible. White people suck. What did that professor from the University of Penn say that was in the New York Times? We need to level the playing field. Older people are disproportionately white. So let's kill them off, some of them. Level the playing field. There are...
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's not what level the playing field means, but okay. That is a powerful argument for Republicans. It works, man. I'll give you that. It is a powerful argument. Let's see how much more white grievance we can get in.
Know it. We know that there are major institutions in this country that could barely hold their contempt for white people, for men, for Christians, for straight people. All of those groups. Cultural Marxism just says that we're all divided. You're not an individual. I'm not Rob Noerr, an individual with my own thoughts and ideas. I'm Rob Noerr, male, white, straight.
Okay. We need to study this cultural Marxism theory for sure. It is interesting. I believe it's a lot of deceptive arguing. Okay. At some point, Rob takes a brave stand against skinheads and bars. Wow. Well done, Rob. Well done. Oh, I guess he gives some nuance here. Here we go. Here's a little nuance about race.
Absolutely. Are there situations in this country where it's advantageous to be white? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. If I got pulled over...
Okay. He throws in some truth occasionally. I'll give you that, Rob. That's why I subscribed to you at one time. I thought that you had some integrity, but clearly you're all about gaming. Politics is just a game, and you don't care if you're accurate.
So yes, but there could be times that I would rather be white.
All right, now let's move on. There's 110 instances of whiteness in this conversation. Okay, then he talks about all the People of color he's known who have apparently had advantages. Okay, let's talk more about this. Ethnic cleansing thing.
Yes, our own policies will result in more people dying, but it's okay because the people that will die are disproportionately white. Why the hell would anyone trust any?
That's not exactly what the point was, but he called me a racist a bunch of times because I offered some questions, just questions. That's all, ideas. So you present an idea to Rob Noerr, that makes you a racist.
They won't tell you the truth. They are racist and they are liars. They pretend, oh, no, I'm not. Just say it, dude. Just say, I hate white people. I want black people to get the medicine before white people. Just come out and say it. I would respect you more. As always, they are what they accuse you of. Have you seen a more blatant piece of evidence of dog whistling? Oh, we should prioritize.
Man, we're only halfway through. Here we go.
Oh, that proves that the system's racist for people of color. It's against white people. That's why people of color have those jobs. But the correct answer would be, no, wait a minute. There could be tons of reasons why that's the case.
Okay, so yeah, the system's heavily rigged against white people. Yeah, I'm not buying it, you know? I mean, there are maybe some examples of where being non-white has certain advantages, but okay, here's more grievances.
People are no longer unique individuals. They are just a subset of categories. You're white, you're an oppressor. You're a person of color, you're oppressed. You're American, you're an oppressor.
Okay, fine. He's just going over all this cultural Marxism talking points. I get it. Some of the stuff that he's saying, there's some validity to it. I'm not going to deny that, but okay. Oh, I get called a racist right here. Here's one of the examples of me being called a racist.
It's men's fault that women are suffering.
Here we go. More racial grievance.
They're good people, don't you get it? They're anti-racist. So it's worth those elderly Americans dying. They're mostly white. Now, I'm sure Public Citizen wouldn't execute white people of his own volition, but he's more than happy to advocate for policies that he knows will lead to their death if it means he gets to virtue signal to everyone, look how good of a person I am. Same with
No. Okay. Man. I wonder why we have so much racial animosity. Do you think the right plays into it at all, just a little bit? Is it possible? Or is it all left-wingers? I'm not saying Rob's not making any good points here. You know, I think he does. But his argumentation is deceptive often, and takes things out of context, magnifies certain things. This is something right-wing people do often. They magnify an issue and blow it out of proportion, or they leave out context, which is what he's doing here. He's leaving out context. He's leaving out the timeline of how this whole proposal about the vaccine distribution was laid out, and that it was an ongoing discussion. He left that whole thing out. Wow, we're only 58. we're like a little bit over halfway through all the white grievance. Let's see here. Man, this technology is amazing, though. Yes, the white liberal people feel good about themselves. Okay. I get it. Yeah. Some of the SJW type people are pretty bad, out of control, need to be put in check. And I do. I talk to people, and if people are out of line on the left or right, I try to speak truth to power, whether that's left-wing power or right-wing power, whatever. All right, they are racist. So here we go. Here's more grievance stuff. Oh, this was a good one. I forgot about this one.
The greatest strength that Barack Obama had was pointing these lunatics to positions of power all around the government or around the country. They don't care. They're racist. They hate you. They hate flyover country. They hate rural America. They hate the working class. If you're white, they hate you. If you're a man, they hate you. If they're straight, they hate you. They do. Or at best, many of them hate you. Many of them just don't give two craps about you.
Okay. Yeah. That seems like a real moderate, balanced, fair approach to an issue, right? All right. Anyway, you get the point. We're not even halfway through. Let me see how many times I get called racist. Bad thing. Shush.
They also make other arguments, but the fact that that was even part of the argument proves they are racist bigots not to be trusted. So when you hear your left-wing friends say, it's Trump supporters' fault, if they would just wear a mask.
Anyway, the racism virus, it's pretty bad. And this kind of rhetoric from Rob isn't helping. And it's disingenuous. I think he knows better. But, you know, he wants to build his brand. He wants to appeal to his base. He wants to put himself as a savior, the white savior. You know, this is an appealing narrative. Trump ran on this, continues to run on this, and it's not going away. I guess that's all I have to say for now.